Hello everyone. Happy New Year. What's your New Year's resolution? Do you have any? I have one to suggest to you, which is not to give up. In today's Bible story, there was a woman who had suffered from bleeding for 12 years. According to the Gospel of Mark, she had suffered under many physicians and had spent all she had and was no better, but rather grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak. Because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I'll be healed. Immediately, her bleeding stopped. Here, I want to focus not so much on Jesus' healing power, even though it was great, but on the woman herself. It was not easy for her to come to Jesus. First, she must have been physically weak after bleeding for 12 years. It was doubtful whether she could even protect herself from being pushed down in a crowd that was pressing tightly around Jesus. How could she make her way through such a crowd with a so weakened body? She must have been afraid. Second, according to the Mosaic law, she was considered unclean and was supposed to live in isolation. She was not allowed to be in crowded places. If others had recognized her, she could have been stoned. This was likely why she did not ask Jesus openly, but instead approached him quietly from behind and touched the edge of his cloak. Even so, it took great courage for her to come to Jesus. She was able to come because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I'll be healed. The word thought here is important. In the Greek, the verb is in the imperfect tense, indicating a continuous action. In other words, from the moment she heard about Jesus, she kept thinking about him, about his power to heal incurable diseases or cast out demons. To muster up courage, she must have kept telling herself again and again, if I just touch his clothes, I'll be healed. This shows that she did not give up despite many obstacles. Though she was accustomed to failure, like having tried many physicians and spent all her money only to grow worse, she held on. She continued to encourage herself with faith in Jesus. This attitude of not giving up is crucial when we come to the Lord. Many things can discourage us along the way, but if we do not give up, our efforts will be rewarded because Jesus is alive. If Jesus were not alive, this might seem like self-hypnosis, but it's not, because our faith has a specific object, the living God himself. If we persevere in faith to the end, he will surely answer us. What is remarkable here is that the woman did not do anything dramatic. She did not cry out loudly or grab Jesus' cloak forcefully. She simply touched it lightly, likely without anyone noticing. Yet she was healed immediately. Jesus never ignores a desperate heart. Even if our actions seem small, if we come to him in faith, he knows our hearts and responds. And Jesus did not allow her to live with only physical healing. After she was healed, she likely tried to slip away quietly, but Jesus asked, "Who touched me?" When the woman realized she could not remain unnoticed, she came trembling and fell at his feet, explaining everything. Jesus then said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace." By doing this, Jesus gave her complete healing, body, soul, and heart. He publicly affirmed her healing so that everyone would know she was no longer unclean. Years of suspicion, rejection, and shame were lifted in that moment. When Jesus called her daughter, his words must have melted all her sorrow and resentment that she might have kept in her heart. The word healed can also be translated as saved, indicating that Jesus granted her spiritual salvation as well. Our Lord always gives more than we ask for. So please don't give up if you have a plea to Jesus. If you're earnest, He will surely listen to you. We want to invite you to our worship, 11 a.m. every Sunday at A302 Undergrad Building. Everyone is welcome.